Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. The series What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if Reborn in Highschool DxD as a Lucifuge? What if Transmigrated to medieval Pokemon world? What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 191, Blaze vs. Maruum 2. With blue fumes radiating out of his body, Blaze's entire presence underwent a major change, emitting a strong and fierce aura. Maruum, who stood opposite to him, felt the change in the atmosphere while some kind of invisible pressure assaulted him. What has changed? The king eyed the transformed Blaze with caution as his intuitions warned him to be wary of the human before him. But, the next moment, the king snapped out of it, and the monster thought inside his mind screamed. How can I be afraid of the human who's nothing but livestock? I am the king. Exploding with a menacing and bloodthirsty aura, Maruum bent his knees slightly and charged with the force of his legs. Unable to bear 100% of his brute strength, the ground below fissured and formed a deep crater. His figure dispersed into a blur of flickers, while ring-shaped air cyclones arose, indicating the fast-approaching figure. The king's intention is simple: head-on confrontation with his entire strength. Concentrating the entirety of aura into his hand, he punched as he approached Blaze. Facing the oncoming king, Blaze channeled the haki to his hand and further lit up in dark bluish flames. As the former neared, he took a step forward and sent a punch of his own. Boom! The two forces collided against one another. The clash alone caused a shockwave that spread wide. Cyclones of debris and rubble whirled around. The pressure from their attacks made the ground explode with excitement. An epic battle between the two elements, haki and nen. Then, just as Maruum thought both their attacks were going to be nullified, his sense of danger arose. Fiery energy traveled from his opponent's fist and surged onto his own. Before he could react, bang, a force hit his entire body and pushed him back. The king found himself skidding across the ground, clueless of what had happened. His entire hand trembled in pain. He saw his entire arm was scorched from inside from outside. How? Blaze didn't give King the opportunity to think and recompose himself. He dashed forward and sent a horrific punch. Bluish flames gushed forth from his fist and roared forward, taking the shape of a dragon. As Maruum intercepted the strike by shrouding his body with nen, the dragon-shaped flames exploded upon contact, releasing an intense flame of high temperature. At the exact moment, Blaze blinked from his place, reappearing directly in front of Maruum. Before the latter could react, he lifted his arm in the air and balled it. Haki and blue fumes covered the fist. Bursting with overwhelming strength, his fist exploded forth, tearing the air itself. The intense heat from the fist even burned the surrounding air. The punch landed squarely on the king's chest, who couldn't evade the strike on time. Boom! The impact from the attack slammed him into the ground. The force of the attack speared through King's inner and came out from the other end, splitting the very ground into countless fragments. The reason for such drastic damage output of Blaze's attack is because the hit perfectly blends Conqueror's haki and blue fumes of extreme temperature. Furthermore, Blaze shot with haki concept, internal destruction. What Blaze didn't expect is, at such a crucial juncture, the king counterattacked. The moment his body smashed into the ground, he whipped the tail at his face. Bang! Though Blaze guarded his face with armament haki at the last moment, the force of the strike flung him across the air. Crashing some meters away from the king, Blaze leaped back to his feet the next moment. But, blood streamed from his mouth non-stop as the strike broke his cheekbone, lower and upper jawbone. If it was someone else in his place, the tail whip would have turned their head into blood mist. With a thought, the power of God's blood coursing through Blaze's body healed his wounds in a matter of seconds. Even with his powerful observation haki, he couldn't react in time. Amazing! The king concealed his intent. Maruam waited and attacked at a perfect moment when he lowered his guard, the microsecond when Blaze got delighted by his successful attack. On the other side, Maruam laughed, wiping the lone stream of blue blood off his mouth, and rose to his feet. Ha ha ha! Human, you excite me. Show me more. He's indeed a monster. Did my attack deal no damage? Blaze wondered. His last strike wasn't some common punch, it was packed with the entirety of haki and the power of sun. Maruam didn't wait for Blaze, he took the initiative and charged at him. With an eye-blinking speed, he appeared before him while his fist rocketed forth covered with none. Blaze dodged. Maruam slammed another punch, followed by the next one. The king's ferocious attacks hailed on Blaze like bullets from the gun. The sheer force of each of his punches reverberated the atmosphere like thunderclaps. His attacks got fiercer and faster exponentially. Blaze retreated while the king advanced, attacking violently. All Maruam's punches probed his every move and were in search of an opening. Facing Maruam's aggressive attacks, a word popped on Blaze's mind. Scary. Even with quick speed and future prediction, he struggled to dodge the attacks perfectly. If he makes a single mistake, the king's punch would maim him without a doubt. What worries him more is Maruam's talent. If he let the king grow like this, it definitely won't end well. Blaze had to admit, he underestimated the king. Not even 15 minutes had passed since they both started fighting, but Blaze and Maruam had exchanged tens of thousands of moves. In such a fast-paced fight, Blaze was forced to burn out his haki and devil fruit powers at an excessive rate to maximize the damage output. The power of God's blood, which was supposed to last over an hour, got exhausted in mere 15 minutes because of repeated healing and exhaustion recovery. Are all my attacks for naught? Why isn't it working? Blaze thought as he gazed at King, who was bruised all over. If not for repeated healing, he would look worse than him. Maruam once again launched towards him, but he suddenly stopped in midway as blue blood seeped from his mouth in a steady flow. The next moment, one of his knees hit the ground without his awareness. He coughed by covering the mouth with his hands, blood painted his hands blue. Seeing this, Blaze smiled and groaned, "He almost scared me." Chapter 192, End. Though the king was injured, Blaze knew the fight is far from over as the latter's nin still remained powerful. And, he could see it in the king's eyes, the rage to destroy everything. Silence ensued. Maruam stood up with an ominous aura engulfing him, the abyss-like nin erupted from him as if he were an evil reincarnate. The overwhelming momentum scared the hell out of Morel, Nav, Kite, and Netero, who were still fighting. For an ant, he's tough. Blaze remained alert and burned another drop of his god's blood, exponentially boosting his devil fruit powers. The king looked strong, but Blaze's attack isn't for naught as it already destroyed the former's inner. Thankfully, he didn't possess a powerful regenerative ability. Without minding the injury, Maruam lunged forward, closing the distance between them in a mere instant. His fingers curled like a claw of a beast, aiming for his neck. His attack was lightning fast and precise with no shortcoming, while his entire hand took on a purple coloration, signifying the cladding of none. As King's attack neared, Blaze opened his mouth, with a golden light beam already formed. If one looks closely, one would see it's not some ordinary beam. Millions of micro, spear-shaped beams are composed together to form the golden beam. As Blaze breathed, the millions of light beam spears bombarded Maruam at point-blank range. At such close range, the king only had the time to cover his body with Ken. In fact, Blaze already prepared the attack beforehand as he predicted King would attack head-on. And, it's not the end. As King defended, Blaze sneaked behind the ladder with quick speed while a bluish sword of extreme heat materialized on his hand. Zzz. With a swing, the bluish sword exuded a thin, near-invisible pressurized slash in a half-moon shape. The temperature from the slash was so intense it ripped the air like paper. Even to such an unexpected attack, the king reacted and whipped his tail in response to fend. But, the amount of nin he put to block wasn't high as he used most to defend Blaze's other attack. Slash. As a result, blood spattered. Maroon's powerful tail was cleaved cleanly off from his body. With a soft thump, it landed on the ground twitching with leftover life aura. Blood pooled from his open wounds, drenching the ground with blue blood. It was Blaze's real purpose from the start. As he coated the slash with Conqueror's Haki in full power of Devil Fruit, Maroon couldn't block it with part of his nun. He was only able to achieve this because of the latter's injury. With blood dripping from his wounds, King grimaced. "Why is the human strong? I can tell I am strong, but all my attacks are seen through as if the human can see the future. I am the pinnacle of my race, born with the destiny to rule over the entire world. It's my fate. I am born king to rule this world and no one can take it away from me." King roared and exploded with overwhelming power. With a thrust, his fist pierced Blaze's body. Blaze didn't evade the attack, he didn't plan to. At the same time, the bluish sword in his hand penetrated King's heart. He knew without sacrifice, he won't be able to kill the king as soon as possible. His wound healed right away, but Maroon's didn't. Leaving the sword in the latter's body, Blaze leaped back, creating some distance. With blood dripping from the sides of his lip, Maroon's knee hit the ground. Without a doubt, he's undeniably powerful with a formidable physique, but he's not a god. Blaze's flame-based attacks already ravaged him inners. It's commendable the king hasn't died yet. At that moment, my king, with a loud shout, a figure shot towards the kneeling figure of Maroon. It's none other than Neferpitou. She escaped Netero's attacks by letting one of his attacks hit her and came to the king's side using the momentum. Seeing this, Blaze's lips curled a little. A bluish-white orb formed on his right hand. When Pitou checked King's injury, her countenance changed. She could tell the king is badly injured with most of his innards burned. She suddenly turned to face Blaze, who was smiling at her. Her look was terrifying with pure malice and rage apparent on it. Seeing the glowing orb on Blaze's hand, her instincts kicked as she protected the king behind with her body. With a thought, the bluish sword that penetrated King scattered into rays of light and pierced Pitou's body from her back. The sword pierced her heart and turned into a bluish flame, burning her inner. She didn't react to the attack as she was facing Blaze, and concern for her king affected her judgment. It was despicable to attack the opponent from behind, but it's all fair in the game. As if the attack wasn't enough, Blaze blinked before her and jammed the glowing orb on her face. As soon as it touched her face, it blasted. Her worry for the king and everything happening in split second, she couldn't even react. With her head exploding into blue mist, Neferpitou lost all signs of life. The death of the royal guard didn't affect King in any way. Using the opportunity, the king attacked him, suppressing his injury. But, a giant palm came out of nowhere and smashed the king into the ground. Bang! The power of the palm thrust fragmented the ground into pieces. At that moment, Blaze saw Netero high in the air. The latter clasped his hands, joining his thumbs and index fingers together, making a sign that looks like the number 99. Then, the Bodhisattva behind him unleashed a barrage of palm strikes with all its arms, beating King like an ant as he should be. Blaze didn't waste time just by watching. He too jumped into the air and stretched his hand facing the sky. A giant wave of bluish flames burst forth endlessly. As he clenched his fist, the flames took the shape of a giant spear and spun at great speed. Injecting a huge amount of Haki into the attack, Blaze slammed his hand down. The next moment, the giant spear formed of flames and Haki shot toward the king, who was being beaten by Netero's palm strikes. Instead of running away or protecting himself, the king just let go as he was very tired and injured badly. He was aware he couldn't win the human with his badly damaged body. Seeing the giant blue flaming spear coming at him, the king felt pressure and fear for the first time. The fact that he couldn't do anything frustrated the king. But it was no use. At the last moment, he closed his eyes and faced the attack. With a loud boom and flash of light, the king felt his consciousness slowly slipping away from him. Am I really the king? Chapter 193, I Am Back. Amazon Lily. Adorned with the signature cape, blue and gold clothing, Hancock stood at the top of her palace, staring at the distant horizon. With sun rays shining upon her face, she looked like someone came out of a painting. One thing that seemed out of place is tears coursing down her cheeks and her body shaking with sobs. It's been 5 years since she heard the news of Blaze's disappearance. Ever since that day, she felt the world lost all its colors and the sorrow of loss filled her heart. The only thought that kept her going forward is Blaze's smile, small teasing, and their lovely moments. At that moment, Elder Nyan, who appeared out of nowhere, kindly called. Hancock. Looking at the tear-faced Pirate Express, Nyan sighed. There was a time when Hancock was selfish, spoiled, and cruel and had a hatred for men. But everything changed after she met Blaze, and at the same time, his disappearance shattered her heart. Why are you here? Hancock asked with a raised eyebrow while her entire aura changed. How long are you gonna keep thinking about him? You have to think for your people and move on. Elder Nyan spoke. None of your business. Get out of here or I will throw you from here into the sea. Hancock snorted and walked into the palace. Though the Marines haven't said anything, I know his disappearance is something to do with the world government. My hatred won't end until I raise the world government to the ground. Somewhere in New World, hundreds of Marines worked busily atop a crystal surface to arrest the surrendered and injured pirates. In the distance, a pirate ship with Jolly Roger could be seen, but it was cleaved neatly into two. One of the Marines watched the ship with his mouth wide open, wondering what happened. You didn't watch the battle, right? Captain Kawina did it. She swung her sword, and the next moment, a powerful half-moon-shaped wind blade sliced the pirate ship like it was butter. Amazing. Yes. It was a rising pirate crew with a total bounty of 200 million who just entered the New World. What are you doing? We are freaking in the middle of the sea in the New World. Hurry up and transfer the pirates, we don't have all day. A Marine officer noted their loitering behavior and urged. Lieutenant Commander, we know you were in the unit for a long time. We heard fellow Marines talk about Vice Admiral Blaze. Was he really as strong as everyone claims? A Marine asked curiously. Though it's been 5 years and many believe he's dead, it's a fact that his figure and accomplishment haven't faded from some of their minds. Over time people will forget some things, but some things won't be forgotten even if one tries, like Blaze's battle with Kanto and the defeat of one of the previous Yonko, Crystal Pirates. Instead of answering the question, stop the gossip and get to work, Lieutenant Commander reprimanded and chased them away. On the deck of the Marine ship, with sweat oozing her from the forehead, Kawina trained hard by swinging her sword repeatedly. Though she's just 18 years old, she has matured splendidly both in terms of beauty and temperament. A little away from her, Regis could be seen drinking wine. Watching the latter train hard, he could help but comment. Kawina, do you have to train so hard? You just finished a battle. I don't want to look weak when Blaze-san comes back. Then, he will think I am being lazy. Kawina replied without stopping her training. Regis shook his head and gulped another mouthful of wine. Will Blaze-san come back after all these years? At first, he too thought the same, but as time passed he lost all hope. The battle of that day is still fresh in his mind, but considering the state Blaze was in when he disappeared, Regis begins to think whether the latter is truly dead. Marine Headquarters. Sengoku rubbed his temple in frustration and spoke. Recently, the number of pirates entering the Grand Line has increased exponentially. And in the world, the situation is looking grim. Shanks and Kaido's crew has been fighting for 2 days straight with no result. If only that brat Blaze was here? Sigh. Nothing would have happened to him if you had let me know at that time. Garp calmly spoke, but Sengoku no, the former is angry. In fact, if not for him blocking him, Garp would have gone to Mary Geos for an answer. Garp, how many times do I have to say it? I know nothing about the world government scheme. I wouldn't have let anything happen to him if I had known it beforehand. In fact, he came to know about the entire thing from Rosinante. Though the latter said Blaze disappeared heavily injured since he hadn't made his appearance for such a long time. Sengoku doesn't know whether Blaze is still alive. I am back. The system is truly omnipotent. I didn't even feel anything. Blaze exclaimed and looked around. He was teleported to the middle of the sea. Where the hell am I? After his battle with Maruam, he used the system function to return to the One Piece world after saying goodbye to the few people he knew in the HXH world. Especially, Gon. With a thought, Little White transformed into a white cloud and acted as a mattress. Sitting on it, he considered his next step. Though he's stronger than before, Blaze knew it was not the right time to confront the world government. Besides, it's not the right move to face them alone. He needs some strong people on his side. After thinking for some time, Blaze looked at his status panel. Name, Blaze Hunt. Occupation, Marine. Constitution, 77.8. Devil Fruit, 74.9. Hockey, 79.9. Free Attribute Point, 5.0. There was some improvement on his Constitution attribute, but his Devil Fruit and Hockey attributes remained the same. Chapter 194, Dracul Mihawk. As Little White soared through the air towards the north, Blaze was glancing at his attributes while deep in thought. He has 5.0 free attribute points. If he wants, he can raise his Hockey and Constitution attribute past the 80 bar limit. But he didn't plan to do it. Right now, Blaze only plans to increase his Devil Fruit attribute. As for his Hockey attribute, he wants to break through the limit on his own. Thinking through, he used 0.5 free attribute points that increased his Devil Fruit attribute from 74.9 to 75.4. As soon as he did that, a bang resounded within his body as if some kind of barrier has been broken. The next second, Blaze felt a new kind of power flowing through his veins. Is this? He mused, feeling the power. The power of gravity. After playing with his Devil Fruit ability for a minute, Blaze found the extent of his newfound power, gravity. Right now, he can pull, repel, increase or decrease the gravity within a certain range. This ability is similar to Fujitori's Yami Yami no Mi Devil Fruit, or Pains from Naruto. Interesting. This is going to be fun. Blaze chuckled. At the same time, he could tell that he hadn't fully unlocked the power of his Devil Fruit. The stronger he gets, the more powerful his Devil Fruit will be. After traversing for around an hour, Blaze finally saw an island in the distance. As he got close to it, he saw a beautiful island surrounded by a coral reef. Is this Purple Bay Island? He knew most of the island in Paradise. And he once came to this island to capture a pirate crew. Time sure flies fast. It's a type of tourist island located near Sabaody. Many pirates pass by this island frequently. So, it's also home to famous bounty hunters who hunt for pirate heads. Let's first change my appearance. I don't want the world government to know that I came back. At least, not yet. Blaze thought and changed the appearance with Nin using Hisoka's texture surprise Nin ability. Though there's no visible change in his stature, he altered his facial characteristics a little and added a mustache, a short beard with thin and neatly trimmed sides. Looking at his appearance in the mirror conjured with the help of his Nin, Blaze nodded. This will do. With his command, Little White once again took off and flew through the air across the shoreline. After a few minutes, a small port town came into the view. Right now, what Blaze badly wants to know is the current timeline. So, he searched for a restaurant and went into one. After ordering some wine and meat, he sat at an empty table and looked at the newspaper he got from the owner of the restaurant. On the front page, he saw the words, "Red-haired Shanks, who has recently been crowned as one of the Yonko, battles 100 Beast Kaido." So, he finally became a Yonko. I can't wait to fight him again. Blaze then looked at the timeline, and he was surprised to see it was 1518 with 2 months left. When I left it was around the end of 1513, which means I was gone for nearly 5 years. Just as he prepared to leave, a pirate crew came out of nowhere and rushed into the restaurant, blocking his path. Just a look, anyone can tell they were terrified by something. One of the pirates, possibly the captain of the pirate crew, crashed into Blaze. As the other party is paranoid, he didn't even look back but directly slashed the sword to the rear. But, before the slash could find the target, Blaze delivered a swift kick. The next moment, the pirate was sent flying away and soon disappeared from everyone's view. Seeing this, the other pirates reacted. They all looked in the direction their captain disappeared and shouted, "Captain!" Before the pirates could make another ruckus, Blaze Conqueror's haki knocked everyone off. What a bother! The other people present on the scene were dumbfounded as they didn't know what happened. At one moment, pirates marched into the restaurant and the next moment, they were all lying on the ground. As Blaze stepped out of the restaurant, he suddenly stopped because he noticed a person standing in his path. Dracule Mihawk. He carried his sword Yoro on his back while clothed in an open black coat with no shirt underneath. Blaze and Mihawk looked at each other. Blaze could tell Mihawk has gotten stronger since he saw him last time. At the same time, Mihawk could tell the person before he is strong, ridiculously strong. Just a wisp of aura radiating from the other party's body warns him to stay away. At the same time, it's that warning that kindled his fighting spirit. Without any words, Mihawk drew his Yora sword and waved it in the air before pointing it at Blaze. Looking at Mihawk's actions, Blaze sighed. Can't we just mind our own business? Tell me your name? Is this really necessary? I am not a swordsman and I'm not in the mood to fight. Blaze spoke, looking at Mihawk in the eye. At the same time, overwhelming willpower erupted from his body and slammed into Mihawk, nearly forcing the latter to take a step back. Such strong conqueror's haki. It's nearly as stronger as Shanks. With surprise-filled eyes, Mihawk asked again. Who are you? Getting no response from Blaze, Mihawk's eyes sharpened as he raised his sword and slashed horizontally. It was a simple slash, but the shockwave emitted from it was tremendous. A wind blade of compressed air flew towards him, shattering the ground beneath. An attack of such scale frightened the residents of Purple Bay, as they ran as far away as possible. Looking at the attack, Blaze shrugged. So be it. Chapter 195, I missed you. As the razor-sharp wind pressure of extreme power came at him, Blaze simply stretched his hand. And the next moment, Mihawk's sword slash suddenly came to a sudden halt. With a slight push of his hand, the wind blade turned and shot towards Mihawk with more intensity. Facing his own attack, Mihawk remained unfazed and effortlessly destroyed the wind projectile with a swing of his sword. Devil fruit? Though no reaction was evident on his face, internally, Mihawk was surprised as he doesn't know what Blaze did. Hawkeye's Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman. Let's find out whether you are worthy of that title. Uttering the words, Blaze's figure flickered and disappeared from the spot. Even before Mihawk could react, a tremendous pressure descended from nowhere and pressed him down. It was as if someone has put a mountain over his head. At the same time, Blaze appeared before Mihawk and balled his fist. Dark gray energy surged and covered his fist. Reeling his arm back, he punched, bursting with power. Gravity punch. Facing such an overwhelming attack, Mihawk called forth every ounce of strength hidden in his body and swung his sword, coating them with haki. Clash. As Blaze's punch collided against the Mihawk's sword, a loud boom resounded. The clouds above swirled and rumbled with thunder, illuminating the sky with purple streaks. Their clash created the ripples of energy and lightning bolts that blustered in all directions. Unable to bear the full extent of the punch, Mihawk was pushed back. Then, out of nowhere, the pressure pressing him disappeared. The next moment, he felt very light, as if he can float with a thought. The change in gravitational force around him disrupted his rhythm and made him fall prey to Blaze's blow. Bang! The overbearing punch banged him to the ground. The entire ground beneath Mihawk succumbed and broke itself apart, waking the dust and debris. Swish! A sword swing cleared the flying clouds and debris, but Blaze's figure was nowhere to be seen. Hawkeyes, I'm leaving as I am not in the mood to fight. But, the next time we meet, I won't show any mercy. Blaze's words sounded in Mihawk's ears. He's strong. The sheer amount of destructive force left even him in awe. Shaking his head, Mihawk turned and walked away from the town. Some distance away, Blaze sat in the white cloud as it shuttled through the air at a medium pace. If he stayed, his battle with Mihawk won't end anytime soon. In the short clash, both of them didn't use their full power as there were people present on the island. Any more power would have killed everyone. Next day, Amazon Lily. After traveling for a long time, Blaze finally arrived at the Island of Women. Seeing the island in the distance, his heart throbbed a little without his knowing. He still feels sorry for disappearing without informing Hancock just after confirming his love for her. I hope she's okay. Musing, Blaze spotted Hancock with his observation hockey. She looked even more beautiful than he last saw her. She exuded charm and grace, adorned in a golden yellowish dress that's illustrated with the emblem of Kija, and wore a pair of golden earrings. With a thought, he teleported behind her. But, after noticing her saddened face, Blaze couldn't take another step. Seeing Hancock in this state made his heart ache. Feeling a presence behind her, Hancock turned and was met with the figure of a man that she longed to meet. Before she could respond, she felt a pull, and the next moment, she was already in his embrace. It's been a while, Hancock. I missed you. Hearing the words and feeling the familiar warmth, tears flowed from Hancock's eyes as she knew it was really Blaze. He came back. As a pirate empress and warlord of the sea, you shouldn't cry. Blaze gently wiped her tears and lifted her chin. Looking at Blaze's face, Hancock couldn't find any change even though it's been 5 years. It was as if the flow of time didn't affect Blaze in any way. I thought you died and won't come back forever, Hancock spoke as tears welled up in her eyes once again. Silly girl. I'm sorry. I won't leave you again. Saying this, Blaze kissed her lips and embraced her tightly. Marine Headquarters. Sengoku ended the call with the Intelligent Division and looked at the report on the table. It was about the battle between Blaze and Hawkeye's Mihawk. As Blaze guessed, his bout with Mihawk attracted the attention of some people. It can't be avoided as there were people present on the island. Moreover, Mihawk isn't some unknown person. He's someone who carries the title of world's strongest swordsman, so their battle was bound to attract some attention. Sengoku knew how strong Mihawk is, it's also why he found it unbelievable someone overpowered him. And that someone is an unknown person. Who is he? Sengoku wondered and spoke, Kuzan, I want you to investigate this person. I don't care whether he's a pirate or whatnot, I can't let some dangerous man run free without knowing his intention. Arara, why do I always get assigned such bothersome tasks? Kuzan left the Fleet Admiral's office carrying the poster of In Disguise Blaze's face. Next day, Blaze sat at a dining table along with Hancock, her sisters, and Elder Nyan. Marigold, Sander Sonia, and Elder Nyan gave Hancock a weird stare. Unlike yesterday, Hancock had a ruddy complexion while her eyes overflowed with love. Elder Nyan guessed something must have happened between those two. Why did you disappear and where did you go? Elder Nyan asked. I can't say where I went, but my disappearance is due to the world government trying to get rid of me, Blaze replied, wolfing a huge chunk of meat. Hearing the answer, Elder Nyan sighed. It was as she expected. The world government can't allow someone like Blaze to get any more powerful. What are you going to do next? Elder Nyan asked. Well, I need to make some preparations, then I will join the Marines again. To take down world government, I need the power of Marines. It won't be easy. Elder Nyan said. Chapter 196, Meeting Sabo. Time passed by. It's been nearly 3 months since Blaze returned to One Piece World. He didn't venture out for the past 3 months, he just stayed in Amazon Lily. Aside from accompanying Hancock, he's been rigorously training his hockey. After 3 months, his hockey had finally broken past the 80-bar limit. It's what he has been waiting for. He plans to go out today. And before rejoining the Marines, he needs to make some preparations and meet some people. Be careful. Hancock spoke in a concerned tone. Embracing Hancock tightly in his arms, Blaze spoke. You know how strong I am. There are only a handful of people in the world who can fight me head-on. It won't be the same as last time. Kissing Hancock's forehead gently, don't worry, you won't miss me. I will come back once in a while to see you. Blaze jumped into the air and disappeared from everyone's view. Looking at the spot where Blaze disappeared, Elder Nyan said, his actions will change the world. Let's hope it's for the best. Blaze teleported some kilometers away from Amazon Lily, before disappearing again. Within a few seconds, he came out of the calm belt and entered Grand Line. His ability to teleport under the sun has improved to the next level after his Devil Fruit attribute broke past the 75-foot bar limit. Entering the Grand Line, he traversed towards the volcanic island where the Old Man Magnus lives. When he reached there, he didn't find anyone. Noticing the area where Old Man Magnus lived is desolate, Blaze sighed as he knew the latter had passed away. He then arranged a tombstone in the memory of Old Man Magnus and inscribed a few words on the stone. Here lies Black D. Magnus, who once challenged the world government. Though your soul passed away to find your loved ones, I will forever remember you in my heart. Offering his prayers, Blaze left the island. Before leaving the island, he changed his appearance with the Nen ability Texture Surprise. His appearance looked the same as one he had 3 months ago when he battled Dracul Mihawk. A few days passed. Blaze has been searching for traces of the Revolutionary Army as he intends to meet Dragon. To take over the Marines under his control, he needs a strong ally who has the same goal as him. And, the Revolutionary Army is an extremely powerful force with intelligence and knowledge over world government's actions. They aren't to be underestimated. He finally found them after narrowing his search toward countries that showed signs of an uprising. If it was someone else, they couldn't have found a trace of revolutionary with such ease, as they are very sneaky and without any visible traces. Blaze was able to do so because he knew how Revolutionary Army acts. Cartia Kingdom, Grass Island. To Blaze's surprise, he caught a big fish. He encountered Sabo, Koala, and Hack of the Revolutionary Army. Well, isn't this a surprise? In a busy restaurant, Sabo and Koala are seated on the second floor at different tables behind one another. As for Hack, he was on the first floor. It's almost done. It won't be long before our people overthrow the current government. Koala spoke in a quiet voice. It's time we leave this country. I spotted a member of CP1 this morning. Inform everyone to be alert and cover their tracks. Sabo responded, gulping a mouthful of food. What? Hearing CP1 was here, Koala was startled. At that moment, Blaze came and directly sat opposite Sabo and spoke. Hello, Sabokuan. Hearing his name uttered by someone he didn't know, Sabo looked at Blaze, who was dressed in an ordinary blue shirt and dark green pants. Though Blaze looked ordinary without a sign of hostility, Sabo's mind went on high alert as if he was facing someone of great strength. He reacted instantly, Koala, run. I will hold him back. Imbuing his leg with armament hockey, Sabo hacked at Blaze with accuracy and swiftness. But, Blaze effortlessly blocked Sabo's kick with his left hand and snapped his fingers. As soon as he did that, everyone within the restaurant forcibly teleported out except Sabo, Koala, and Hack. I just want to chat without attracting any attention. He sighed. Glimpsing Sabo preparing for another attack, Blaze shifted Koala and Hack next to him. Witnessing his actions, Sabo abandoned the thought to attack. What do you want? Sabo asked, clenching his fist. Koala and Hack stood petrified on the spot. Aside from being teleported against their will, they were bound by intense heaviness, unable to even move their muscle. They wondered in their heart, looking at Blaze. What's happening? Who is he? CP0, Marine, or someone on world government side? Koala and Hack were terrified, and for the first time in their life, they felt helpless. This man is too strong. Don't be afraid, guys, I am not your enemy. Have a seat. Blaze smiled and released Koala and Hack. Though skeptical, Sabo had no choice but to follow Blaze's words, as he's afraid the other party would attack Koala and Hack. Furthermore, the man seems to know everything about him, his name, and who is Koala and Hack. Once everyone took a seat, Blaze spoke, can you arrange a meeting with Dragon? I need to speak with him. No, Sabo flatly refused and had a resolute look. Come on, Sabo. I am not asking where your hideout is, I am just asking you to call Dragon. It's a simple request. Blaze spoke as spread his hands. Before Sabo could respond, 5 figures, clad in black cloaks, appeared inside the restaurant in a ghostly way. CP1 Sabo, Koala, and Hack stood from their seat and glared at them. Hack spoke, the commotion we made attracted their attention. We lead them directly to us. Chapter 197, Talk with Dragon. We finally found him. Revolutionary Army's Chief of Staff, Sabo. Kill the other 2 and capture him. The leader of CP1 commanded. Before the 4 figures could follow their leader's command, they suddenly felt stiff and cold as if they were stared at by a wild beast. And the next moment, they saw their leader's head burst into a blood mist while his headless body slumped to the ground, lifeless. None of the people present on the scene could understand what just happened. Can't he see I am in the middle of talking? Barging in uninvited and ruining my business, what should I do with you all? Blaze's voice woke them from their stupor. The 4 CP1 agents looked at Blaze in fear and horror. Though they have undergone various death-like training from a young age and assassinated powerful people, facing Blaze they felt their entire body trembling. One of the agents couldn't withstand the pressure and uttered, "We are Cypher Pol, if something happens to us, the world government won't let you off. You will be chased to the end of the world, either killed or enslaved." Hearing the words, Blaze raised his eyebrows and stood up from his seat. Oh. I didn't plan to kill you 4 first, but after what you said, I suddenly feel a tingle down my spine. It will be exciting to be chased by the world government. But, are they powerful enough to make me run for my life? Blaze pondered aloud. Maybe I will find out once I kill you. The next moment, blood splattered. Ah! The flesh was being gruesomely ripped off from the 4 Cypher Pol agents' necks by something invisible. If someone from the HXH world was here, they would see 4 nin beasts with their dio enjoying the flesh of 4 Cypher Pol agents. In no time, the corpse of 4 agents was eaten cleanly by the invisible nin beasts. As for Sabo, Koala, and Hack, they gulped witnessing Blaze's cruel way of dealing with things. Above all, his fearless attitude toward the world government alarms them a little. Dealing with them, Blaze shifted his attention once again to Sabo. My objective doesn't differ much from yours. I thought it would be good to have an ally. I will ask you one last time, are you going to call Dragon or not? Sabo thought for a moment and agreed. He called Dragon with Den Den Mushi, "Hello, Dragon-san," and explained about Blaze and gave the Den Den Mushi to Blaze. Receiving the Den Den Mushi, Blaze glanced at Sabo and snapped his fingers. His powers teleported Sabo, Koala, and Hack outside the restaurant. I finally get to speak with you, Money D, Dragon of the Revolutionary Army. Blaze greeted. There was silence on the other side. Dragon was a little surprised to hear his full name, but it didn't affect him much since it's not some kind of secret. Who are you? Dragon directly asked. I am Blaze. You should have at least heard my name, right? If you are the same infamous Vice Admiral Blaze of the Marines who disappeared 5 years ago, then yes, I know you. Dragon answered. I am the same person, Blaze answered. I didn't expect you escaped even after fighting the 5 elders. Dragon praised. It looks like you knew what happened that day. Of course. I always keep an eye on world government and Mary Geos. An attack on Mary Geos isn't a small matter. I contacted you because I hope we can form a little cooperation, Blaze spoke, cutting the small talk. Cooperation? My goal is simple, to separate the Marines from world government control. I can't do it alone as it won't be easy. In a way, our goals are the same. You want to free the people from the world government's reign and I want to free the Marines. To achieve that, we have no choice but to confront the world government head-on. What do you say, deal? You have a big ambition. Yours isn't much different. I know it will be hard to trust me or my words. I don't expect you to. We don't need to have any interaction or help each other, but when it comes to a decisive battle, I hope you will engage the world government." Blaze conveyed his thoughts. After thinking for a minute, Dragon agreed, as he didn't have any reason to reject. It's a good deal, as both parties won't interact with each other until the final battle. I will agree to the deal once you rejoin the Marines, Dragon said. Good. It won't be long before I rejoin, Blaze said, and ended the call. Walking out of the restaurant, he saw Sabo, Koala, and Hack standing outside, waiting for him. "We will meet again." Leaving the words, Blaze disappeared from their view. When the world government got the news that some of the best agents of CP1 were annihilated, they were enraged. After a swift investigation, they found the culprit. Though Blaze was discreet in his actions, many people present in the restaurant saw his disguised appearance. In no time, Blaze's information reached the Marines, and they were told to capture or kill this person on sight. Sengoku once again dispatched Admiral Akiji. Sabayati. When Blaze reached near the Sabayati, he saw a noisy pirate ship docked in the port area. At first, he didn't care, but he suddenly noticed the Jolly Roger similar to Ace's hat. Spade pirates? He thought, and teleported to the ship. Time sure flies past. When he landed on the ship, he didn't see any core members of the crew. But pirates left to watch the ship noticed his presence and came to confront him. "Hey, who are you? What are you doing on our ship?" a pirate asked while his hand rested on the hilt of the sword. Blaze didn't speak any nonsense and directly knocked everyone on the ship unconscious with his conqueror's haki. As he exited the ship, a bunch of people approached the ship from the distance. Blaze didn't see Ace among them, but he noticed a familiar figure, Masked Duce. The most unexpected thing is that he saw Dark King Rayleigh. On the other hand, Spade pirates also noticed Blaze coming down from their ship. When they saw unconscious figures around their ships, their expressions changed. Blaze sighed, understanding what they are thinking in their heart. Chapter 198. A short clash with Dark King Rayleigh. Looking at the angry Spade pirates who were fuming with rage, Blaze knew any amount of explanation wouldn't enter their ears, so he didn't bother to reason with them. "Attack!" A pirate shouted and rushed forward while others blindly followed before Masked Duce could warn them, as he could tell the other party isn't simple. As he expected, before the fellows could reach Blaze, they were hit by a strange repulsive force and pushed far away. "You guys shouldn't react in such an extreme manner, your companions are just unconscious," Blaze spoke, staring at Masked Duce. "And I won't show mercy if attacked again." Ignoring the frightened Spade pirates, Blaze walked past them and looked at Rayleigh. The latter is dressed in a simple plain t-shirt, shorts, and sandals. Above these, he wore a silver hooded cloak. "I didn't expect to meet the infamous Dark King Rayleigh here." Hearing his words, the Masked Duce and other pirates of Spade pirates were startled. "What? He's Dark King Rayleigh, the legendary first mate of Pirate King Gold Roger? Unbelievable." Everyone present on the scene found it hard to believe. Rayleigh took a sip of liquor from the small flask he carried and spoke in a calm tone. "I'm surprised someone as young as you recognize me. But you are not an ordinary someone." Meeting Rayleigh, Blaze's fighting spirit awakened. Though the other party is old, the amount of life energy and haki restrained by him states otherwise. As one of the legendary figures, he sure is a strong individual. Even if he's old, Blaze could tell his strength is no weaker than the Emperor's of the Sea. On the other side, Rayleigh was similarly astonished by Blaze's strength. With his powerful observation haki, he could sense the latter's haki is just short of Roger's during his prime. He should be as strong as Whitebeard. When did the sea birth such a monster? Rayleigh thought. Given a choice, he doesn't want to confront someone as powerful as Blaze, as he's already retired. If he fights, it might draw unwanted attraction. Blaze and Rayleigh looked at each while the surrounding air grew stiff, sound and winds unmoving. The tense atmosphere suffocated most of the Spade pirates. Though Blaze and Rayleigh didn't move, their conquerors' haki collided. The air screeched as the willpower of two supreme kings clashed in midair. The sheer power triggered ripples and sparks of lightning to erupt from random places. The clouds above shook while the sea itself shook, pushing back the waves. The bubbles of Sabaody drifting within a certain range burst upon contact, unable to withstand such a tremendous output of willpower. Most of the spade pirates lost their consciousness and dropped to the ground with audible thuds. The lucky ones struggled to remain on their feet. Clash of Supreme Kings. Masked Duce uttered with a look of shock on his face. He didn't expect the spade pirates would meet such monsters even before they could enter the new world. Swish! Blaze made his move. Imbuing his leg with hockey, he rushed forward and kicked at Rayleigh. His kick hacked forward, tearing apart the air. On the other side, Rayleigh delivered a kick of his own, harnessing hockey into his leg. Boom! Even before their respective attack could make contact, there was a thunderous sound. The clouds above Sabaody split, intimidating everyone present on the island. Dark golden and black lightning sparks flew in all directions. Though the attacks didn't meet, the force from each kick exerted on one another, trying to dominate the other. A massive, ring-like blast of pressure expelled into a loud, powerful shockwave that dispersed around. The overwhelming pressure and shockwave could be felt by everyone present on Sabaody. After a few seconds of battle, both their attacks scattered into the wind. Blaze didn't shoot again. He looked at Rayleigh and spoke. "If you were in your prime, I would have enjoyed this fight. Pity." And, thought in his heart, "I have other business, it's not time to reveal myself. See you again, Dark King Rayleigh." Saying this, Blaze disappeared from the spot. Rayleigh took a sip of his wine and chuckled, "What an interesting young man. It seems like I won't be bored in the future." On the other hand, Masked Duce and other spade pirates were terrified by the strength displayed by Blaze and Rayleigh. Leaving the location, Blaze quickly spotted Ace without much effort, since the latter is the holder of fire fruit. His heat signature is like that of the sun in the dark. At the moment, he was being chased by Ensign Isuka. After a few minutes, Ace was found by Masked Deuce, and the latter explained the encounter with Blaze. Though Blaze interfered, nothing changed. After 3 days, Ace was approached by Isuka and Vice Admiral Draw, who gave him an official invitation from the world government to join the 7 warlords of the sea. Of course, Ace refused, and Vice Admiral Draw took that as an opportunity and tried to kill him. Ace defeated Draw after a challenging fight and awakened his Busashoko haki in the process. After the clash, Ace and Deuce returned to their ship and headed to Fishman Island. If nothing goes wrong, Ace will soon join the Whitebeard pirates after a short adventure in the New World. Blaze watched everything from the distance. He didn't plan to meet Ace, as he can't do it with his current identity. If fate yields it, they will meet soon. Furthermore, there's a reason for his visit to Sabaody. He plans to collect some interest from the world government for attacking him 5 years ago. He didn't intend on doing anything big but make some trouble. A good example is killing some celestial dragon scums. Doing so, an admiral will be dispatched to hunt him down. If he beat the admiral, the world government may send a CP0 to track him. It's just he has a good relationship with Kizaru and Kuzan. He needs to be careful when fighting them so that he wouldn't injure them heavily. But if by chance Sakazuki was dispatched, he will beat that bastard to a pulp so that he won't get out of bed for a month or 2. Let's see whether that bastard is lucky or not. Blaze smirked and balled his fist. He hadn't forgotten the fact that Sakazuki nearly killed him a few years back. Chapter 199, Arrival of Admiral Akainu. A few days had passed since Blaze came to Sabaody Island. His short encounter with Rayleigh has created a stir that alerted both Marines and world government. Both the powers have sent people to look into the situation. Unfortunately, they couldn't find anything, as spade pirates left Sabaody while Blaze and Rayleigh concealed their presence. After a long wait, 4 celestial dragons came to Sabaody. Seeing this, Blaze smirked. Finally! He didn't recognize the ones who came, as there were many celestial dragon families residing on Mary Geos. But, looking at their arrogant and self-righteous countenance, he knew it doesn't matter which family they are from. Like other world nobles, they had resin bubbles over their heads, preventing them from breathing the air of the common people. Wherever they went, people dropped to their knees and bowed their heads. Nothing has changed. Degenerates. Blaze sighed and looked at the world government agents following them. They were nothing special. It's time to start. Out of nowhere, Blaze's figure materialized before the celestial dragons who were strolling the street. His sudden appearance alerted the world government agents who were guarding them openly and secretly. Who is he? Didn't he know they are world nobles? The kneeling people thought aloud. What is he trying to do? I hope we don't get implicated in the mess he's going to create. Before the world government agents could react and world nobles could throw cursing words at him, an indescribable pressure of gravity crashed upon them. Bang! The next moment, the 4 world nobles and world government agents within a 1-meter radius were squashed into pulpy blood mass. It took a second for everyone present at the scene to come out of their daze and respond. Looking at Blaze, they involuntarily gulped before fleeing the place. Run! 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 This man killed the celestial dragons. An admiral will soon show up on Sabaody. If the world government found we were at the scene, we won't be spared. As Blaze didn't kill every single world government agent, it didn't take long for someone to report the situation. Ignoring scampering people and terror-stricken world government agents, Blaze walked towards the fruit store nearby and grabbed a green apple. He sat in the chair placed outside the store before taking a bite. His casual attitude stunned the world government agents and some fearless people who watched everything from distance. Marine headquarters. What? Damn! Sengoku slammed the table and stood from his seat with evident anger on his face. He's the same person Hawkeye encountered a few weeks back. He disappeared for a short time, but the next thing he does after his appearance is killing Celestial Dragon and anger the world government. What is his purpose? Is he from Revolutionary? Who is he? Sengoku thought. Recalling his call with the 5 elders, he rubbed his forehead in annoyance. The world government wants to send its entire force to nab the criminal. It doesn't matter what the other party's motive is, his actions were clear provocation toward the Marines. To maintain justice, they must either capture or kill him at all costs. If they fail, what will the world think? Their failure in eliminating the celestial dragon killer will rouse the pirates and push countless people towards the path to piracy. Sakazuki is on headquarters, right? Tell him to come and see me. Meanwhile, prepare a fleet and notify the available vice admirals of the situation. Yes, the marine officer acknowledged and left to execute the order. It didn't take long. Admiral Akainu's arrival at the Sabaody Island created panic among the residents and pirates alike. Who doesn't know about the fearsome reputation of Admiral Akainu? After his ascension to the rank of admiral, he destroyed many great pirate fleets with over 1 billion bounties. In the last few years, he clashed against Yonko's crew more than once and remains alive. He's considered to be the strongest admiral among the 3. As soon as Sakazuki came to Sabaody, he found Blaze effortlessly since the other party neither attempted to run nor hide his presence. Blaze glanced at Sakazuki. The other party looked the same as he remembered, sporting a crimson suit that was decorated with a pink rose pattern and donned a marine cape of an admiral. Aside from appearance, he could tell the other party's hockey and devil fruit powers had matured considerably. It seems like he would put up a decent fight. At the same time, Sakazuki scrutinized disguised Blaze and snorted. You are indeed not simple. You are obviously waiting for an admiral to come. Who are you? Blaze chuckled and stood up from the seat. It seems like it's my lucky day. I was hoping you would come. Here you are. Hearing the words, Sakazuki knitted his brows and asked, What do you mean? Before he could finish his sentence, Blaze arrived before Sakazuki in a flash and smacked his face. Bang! As he used hockey and gravitational power in the strike, the punch created a ripple in the air and knocked Sakazuki far away. Sakazuki's figure streaked across the air and smashed into one of the grooves. The resulting impact even shook such a massive groove a little. He's pretty quick in his response. He was able to cover his face with hockey at the last moment. Blaze thought and flew towards where Sakazuki crashed. Ah! Before Blaze could reach, Sakazuki let out a ferocious roar and leaped into the air while the temperature around the few meters raised alarmingly as he transformed into boiling magma, ready to erupt. Such aggression. Blaze shook his head. Sakazuki is an extreme follower of absolute justice and unquestionably loyal to the world government. He holds immense pride in the name Marines and won't let anyone taint its reputation. And he knows what will happen if he fails to capture this celestial dragon killer. Die. Volcanic eruption. Sakazuki coated his magma fist with haki. His magma fist then expanded before rocketing forward, akin to a volcanic eruption, burning whatever lies in its path. Chapter 200, Bashing Akainu. A strong repulsive force erupted from Blaze's body and stopped the incoming attack of Sakazuki for a second before scattering them away. Seeing his signature move couldn't even burn the opponent's clothes, Sakazuki composed himself and began to analyze how the other party stopped his attack. He was told the power is related to gravity, but the extent of it isn't confirmed yet. Experiencing it in person, the might of the devil fruit is stronger than Sakazuki thought. What category does this devil fruit falls into? Meanwhile, two figures hid behind a huge groove with their presence concealed perfectly. They were watching the confrontation between Sakazuki and Blaze. Don't know what kind of ability they were using, as even Blaze's observation haki failed to notice their presence, but thankfully his sensed their location. CP0, huh? This is getting interesting. Blaze smiled inwardly without expressing anything on his face. He stared at Sakazuki and gestured with his finger to come at him provocatively. He then commented further, Admiral Akainu, I heard when criminals see you in person, they tremble in fear. But, why am I not getting any of these tingling sensations? Are all Marine admirals just this? Blaze's words angered Akainu as the surrounding temperature rose rapidly while the grass beneath him was reduced to ashes under extreme heat. Clenching his magma hands that are boiling in fury, he thought of the warning Sengoku gave him just before he left the base. He's free to use his powers without any restrictions, but it shouldn't harm the innocent residents of Sabaody or the island itself. Right now, he's waiting for the Marines to evacuate. Are you waiting for the Marines to clear the people? Don't bother. My sole purpose in killing the world Nobel is to battle an admiral and show the world. Unlike you, I'm not someone who harms innocent people just to achieve my goal. Blaze sneered. He knew Sakazuki isn't the type of person to care about people's life. It means he was instructed not to harm innocents, as the power of magma can burn the entire Sabaody archipelago to ashes. Sakazuki may not be as strong as Yonko, but he's nonetheless a strong individual. His crazy belief in absolute justice makes his haki firm and powerful. Furthermore, he's the owner of the strongest offensive power, magma fruit. Just my haki is enough to crush you, Blaze exclaimed and took a step forward. The entirety of his conqueror's haki exploded and even manifested into countless dark purple lightning. The sheer might of the haki turned the sky into a thunderous one. The grounds began to shake while a strangling shockwave swept across the entire island. The countenance of two Cypher Pole agents drastically changed, sensing the vigor of the haki. They looked at each other. This haki. It's nearly as strong as Whitebeard. We are in trouble. As they knew Admiral Akainu won't be able to defeat this person with his current strength. Sakazuki too finally understands what level of threat Blaze possesses, and he alone isn't strong enough to stop. But it isn't enough to force someone like him to back down. After all, he's someone who encounters Yonkos frequently. He won't back down to a criminal. Entertain me well. Blaze spoke, otherwise, I will beat to a pulp such that there will be no difference between magma and blood. Saying this, Blaze dashed forward and threw a punch by leaping in the air. When Sakazuki tried to counter the attack with his magma fist and haki, he was pushed back. The force behind the punch forced him to glide for a few meters before stopping while his hands trembled from pain and stiffness. Such strong haki. This time, Sakazuki took the initiative. Dark Hound. Transforming his hand into magma, he lashed out at Blaze, forming a claw-like thrust. In the series, the blow was powerful enough to melt off part of Whitebeard's head, but Blaze didn't find the attack intimidating. Facing the surging attack that fired at him, Blaze made no attempt to dodge. He took a step forward and met the incoming magma thrust with an outstretched hand. Channeling the haki into his hand, he made it erupt outward. Even before the Sakazuki's attack could make contact, it was scattered by the overwhelming haki outburst. As Blaze and Sakazuki clashed against one another, the Marines evacuated residents present in the Grove area from 1 to 29. Boom! Bang! Boom! Still, the exchange of blows between the two powerhouses generated sparks of lightning to fly everywhere and powerful shockwaves that shook the entire Sabaody. Two figures watched the battle from the distance. They are none other than Rayleigh and Shaki. Smoking a cigarette, Shaki said. Well, I didn't expect someone to kill to Celestial Dragon, just to face an admiral. Either he's crazy or someone with ambition. From the overwhelming Conqueror's haki we sensed earlier, I would say he's ambitious. Ha, I felt his vigorous haki when he exchanged a move before. It was as vast as an ocean. Rayleigh chuckled. It's worth living to see what kind of future this generation may create. Bang! After a few bouts, a strong punch from Blaze connected and hit Sakazuki in his face. The explosive power behind the strike nearly crushed the latter's facial skull and smashed him into the ground. Sakazuki groaned in pain while coughing a mouthful of blood. You! Blaze didn't give him a chance to rise again. Flashing next to him, he stomped at his chest feet that pressed him firmly to the ground. He didn't just stop with a stomp, his feet exploded with advanced armament haki that burst out and sought to destroy Akainu's internal organs. His actions didn't give him the slightest chance for Sakazuki to reform his magma body efficiently to dodge the haki attack. Understanding the kind of predicament he's in, Sakazuki used armament haki to protect his internal organs. Otherwise, Blaze's attack would have knocked the admiral unconscious. Still, the strike of Blaze forced Akainu to the corner and made him powerless as he could do nothing to escape from the other party's hold. Ah! Bastard, I am going to kill you. Maddened, Sakazuki's Magu no Mi power erupted at full force, striving to destroy everything in the vicinity. But, slight pressure from Blaze's feet and another eruption of his haki quelled the Sakazuki's magma power. It was as if the power of magma doesn't affect him in any way. SHHHH. You are not a puppy, Red Dog. You should learn to accept defeat. Blaze remarked and punched him in the face with the power of gravity. The immense pressure generated from the power of gravity deformed Sakazuki's face to a quirky extent. Blaze didn't stop with a single punch, as a shower of punches fell on Sakazuki. After 20 or so punches, Blaze stopped, sensing Admiral Akainu lost consciousness. As Blaze didn't show any form of mercy, the latter's face was beaten badly with full of blood, beyond recognition. That wraps up this part of What If Transmigrated into one piece and became a Marine. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Quick reminder. The series What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if Reborn in Highschool DxD as a Lucifuge? What if Transmigrated to medieval Pokemon world? What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.